Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. Celebrating May the 4th be with you weekend. Welcome back to the third day of the Kessel Run. My name's Austin, and I will be starting off today speedrunning what I think is the greatest game of all time, the game of my childhood, Star Wars Battlefront 2, 2005. We don't talk about Classic Collection in here. This is all the perfect game that it was almost 20 years ago. Today with me, I've got the world record holder of this category, which, by the way, I am running any percent with bonuses. But yeah, I've got the world record holder of this category commentating with me. So, Kaz, go ahead and say hello, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Kazumas. So, like Austin has mentioned, I am the world record holder of this category of any percent with bonuses. Austin here um, is second place. So, if he's very lucky, he could in fact be stealing my world record live on this chat. It wouldn't be the first time someone's got a world record during the Kessel Run for this particular category. But yeah, this is the third of the Star Wars Battlefront 2 runs we've had. We've seen any percent at its most random with the randomizer. We've seen the game at its most brutal with any percent no bonuses, and now we're ready to see the any percent mode beaten at its fastest possible way. So no space missions and all bonuses is where it's at. So Austin, how are you feeling? You ready?
I am ready. Yeah, there's no better time than right now to try and break a world record. So I think we should just go ahead and do it. Yeah. All
Fantastic.
right. I'm going to start us off on my Guido. Let's do it. There's a lot of stuff in any percent with bonuses that'll happen like right away, and we will try our best to kind of explain what's going on as it happens. So
But yeah, that there. So that there is the remote rocket. Yes,
I
that's
forgot
one
to
of the
start.
bonuses you can get.
Am I allowed to
Oh,
restart? I forgot to start my timer.
oh well.
I think it's okay. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
do it.
super fast.
All right.
Going again for real.
Timer is started now. I'm not sure if I have the correct splits up. We'll find out.
There we go. BMAX says we're good. So that there is the remote rocket strat. So as I was just saying before, the bonus for the rocket launcher is that you actually get an additional remote rocket launcher that has between 4 and 5 remote rockets. And it basically works such that if you activate a certain trigger zone with that remote rocket, it works the same as if you were a regular trooper. And if anyone has ever played this casually, they probably might have died somewhere between that sort of midpoint and this command post. And when you do, there's an extra command post that spawns. So what we can do is use a remote rocket to trigger that area, respawn, spawn in that faster command post, and now we get to here. So this is another trick that's going to come up. So by using the command post here, we can actually change class. And what that does is it resets our reload, and we're able to shoot those turrets really quick. And by shooting a grenade just through that hole there, we're actually able to fire a grenade, hit that power generator, and now we're already at this command post. But yeah, no. How are you feeling, Austin? How's it going so far? Good turrets.
Yeah, missed the rocket, but you know it happens quite often. But no, I'm feeling really good. This could be a good start. So kind of just gotta play good here. Yeah.
Magito can be a really sort of technical first mission at times with a lot going on, and it can be a source of a lot of resets as well. So we just jump over this. We don't even need to worry about those shield generator boxes around. We can just hop over, and we can take this. And now we're going to introduce, we're premiering the first use of the infinite sprint. So you can see that stamina bar at the bottom left, that little nub underneath the lightsaber icon on the bottom left. Yeah, by performing a block, we can then buffer a roll onto that, and that performs an infinite sprint as a Jedi. And there are two other methods of this we'll be showcasing a little bit later on that will be useful for not just Jedi, but also for regular troopers. It's a little bit more difficult to pull off, but yeah, we'll be seeing those as we continue with the run. So I think we're ready for Lucia.
Yep. Just double checking to make sure I have friendly fire off because we'll be using mines here at the beginning portion, and I've had many of runs die because I did not have friendly fire off.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. So, yeah, good thing about this particular run is that every time you go to the planet screen, you do have access to go to the options menu, and we do have access to switch the game to have friendly fire off or on as we want. So the good thing about having the precision pistol here, which is the more overpowered version of the pistol, is that it allows us to kill these Acklay really, really quickly. And for those of you who don't know, there is actually a weak spot to these Acklay. If you aim for their front right leg, which is the one on the left as you're face to face to it, then that performs a crit. So yeah, that's a really, really fast way of getting with those Acklay alongside Acklay, just placing down mines as well, like we saw here, but also with no bonuses as well. What we're doing here, this is supposed to be a 2-minute auto-scroller, where we're supposed to defend this ATTE, but all of the droids spawn from this particular command post. You can see Austin standing right next to it.
Whoa!
Oh,
What just
uh,
happened? Okay.
Alt E, I think, is
I was
that's
holding I
that.
was holding control and hit E. I did not know that just happened. I can
Yeah,
do that.
Control E does that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Good
a
to
bit
know.
awkward sometimes. Oh my god. Um, oh, where was I? But yes, yeah, all the droids spawn from that particular spawn point, and we're actually not going to see any droids spawn here whatsoever, which gives us the rest of this time to sit down, to vibe, and we're going to wait here. In 1 minute's time, we're going to see a flag. We call them flags colloquially because that's functionally what they are, but in this case, I believe in the canon, it's a power cell for this downed gunship. We're going to take that straight to the ATT, and then we're going to start playing as Ayla Secure, but we just got to wait down this 40-second timer. For anyone who has watched any of my streams or any of Austin's streams will know that this is what we like to call our campfire story period. So we like to, you know, just talk and chill out for a little bit during this time. So it's pretty good.
We like to get chat involved for those campfire stories. So we're running out of time, but it's okay. So if there's any stories, funny or not, real life or in game, whatever game,
There'll be
those
plenty of time during Kashyyyk as well while we're doing remote rockets, but we'll get to that when we get there. So in the next 4 seconds, we'll be taking that back, taking back the flag. Cool, and we can do this little route here with a few sprint jumps. They're the fastest form of movement for this game. And we can play as Ayla Sakura to take out these turrets. Now, interesting thing about Ayla is that a lot of her damage output is sort of done to the side based on her sprint attack animation. So by turning anti-clockwise 90 degrees, you can actually get more damage output from Ayla as she places her lightsaber behind her, like that. So you can see it actually does more contact with the turret itself. We're able to destroy these things in, like, basically no time. It's great. And that's the end of Felucia. Any second now. Yep, there we go. And now we're going to be moving on to Kashyyyk. It's going to be our longest map with any percent no bonuses with Starfy. I think we were able to complete this in around 9 minutes. Or at least that's how fast I usually do my no bonuses Kashyyyk. With a safe strat anyway. With this one, we're going to be seeing the advanced strat, aren't we, Austin?
yes, the advanced strat, which brings a lot of pain to any percent with bonuses speedrunners because most of the time, if it's not pulled off correctly, lots of resets, especially at this level, like where Kazumis and world record, and you know the world record right now by Kaz is 45:24. You kind of need this advanced strat on Kashyyyk to get close to that time.
Yeah, and so to basically explain what advanced strat is, it's a lot of very loose threads that seem completely unrelated that all sort of tie up to each other at the very end. So first of all, it's very much casual gameplay right here. So we're just going to take out some of these tanks just to make sure they're not going to cause us any trouble later on. But one of the main points of this strat is basically to take one of the enemy droids and push them towards command post 1. We're going to purposefully let that command post neutralize, so it's white, and we're going to make sure that no clones or no other droids or anything like that gets in our way, or indeed Wookiees. So we're going to purposefully team kill some of these guys, and we're going to neutralize this. Now, big risk of this is that a lot of the droids are prone to getting themselves killed. So things like Magna Guards, things like Super Battle Droids, they've all got some sort of wrist rocket or EMP grenade or rockets or something. Engineer is actually the best class, which I believe is what Austin has now.
Yes.
And so by pushing this guy across, there's less of a risk of an engineer blowing himself up because they're less privy to throwing down deck packs as opposed to, say, an assassin droid, which will throw grenades or something. But now we've got that command post neutral. That allows us to just carry on with this. And for those of you not familiar with the game, you're probably asking, why would you want to do that? What's the purpose for this? So later on at the very end of the run, we're going to see that command posts 1 and 2 work very, very differently to how they normally work in regular instant action or conquest gameplay, because for some reason, the way these command posts were set up, we're going to see these disappear at the end of the second objective to fall back behind the sea wall. And then when they show up in the final objective, they're going to show up again. But if you neutralize either command post 1 or 2
Or both.
by the end, well, yeah, or both of them, which is possible. If you're able to neutralize them by the end of the second objective, to fall behind the seawall, and then you are present for when you're in like the capture area or radius for when those command posts show up again, just before the start of objective 4, that neutral state will carry over, and usually it's around 20. Is it like 20 seconds to fully capture a command post in this mode?
Yeah.
And yeah, so but we're actually cutting off like 10 seconds of time by allowing it to be neutral early. So in this case, we got a single neutral. So we have a bit of a terminology here. Single neutral just means we've neutralized the first command post, but double neutral is the event where command post 1 and 2 are both neutralized. And if either you or indeed any ally are in that capture area for either of those command posts, it will just come across as neutral afterwards once the objective starts. So there is some like sort of tech trying to be developed to try and get a consistent double neutral, but it's not quite there yet. But yeah, there is an awful lot going on. But then that also brings us to this objective. Of course, for those of you who are well versed in this game will know that this is the seawall has been breached, brace yourselves level. We won't be hearing it any number of times because we've actually switched off the commander voice lines just because they actually slowed down the time it takes for the victory screen to show up between the end of each level. But we'll only be seeing the seawall go down once, just generally speaking, because we actually don't need to defend it from the seawall when we've got remote rockets. And the reason for that is because we actually don't need to worry about individual droids being the cause of the destruction of the oil refinery, because realistically, only tanks are going to cause substantial enough damage to destroy it in like 4 minutes. So as long as we ensure that all the tanks have been destroyed and not going to cause us any trouble, then that's what's going to allow this oil refinery to be defended. And we can use this, it's basically, 95% there, so basically very little in the way of damage. And while we're here, I might as well talk about the logic for Command Post 4, because that one is different from Command Post 1 and 2, because of course it is. Why can't things be consistent? So as you can see, we've fully captured this command post. This is not what you're supposed to do at this stage, but you can just capture it for whatever reason. Interesting thing though is that the final objective is supposed to be that you're supposed to capture all of the command posts to the very end, right? But because we've captured this too early, it means that we sort of risk droids being able to capture it back in the final objective, even though they're not really supposed to be able to. And the way we resolve this is by, first of all, when we're given the option to play as Yoda, we don't even select yes. So we're just going to avoid Yoda entirely, because he does not have the range to stop enemies from taking Command Post 4 while we're trying to capture the other command posts.
You hear that?
So
you hear that, Aspire? Fix your game by giving Yoda a rifle. That's it.
I think that's the fix we've been all looking for. I think update 3 is really going to be where it's at. So yeah, write your support tickets right now. But of course, yeah, with this is so when we come around to the final objective in just a few seconds, what we'll actually do is, we'll take a tank, we'll drive it around to command post 1, then 2, then 5. All the while we're doing that, we're going to be defending command post 4 from a distance. Probably using the award pistol. I think you prefer to use a sniper, don't you, Austin?
Yes, it gives me a secondary weapon in the award sniper, even though it's not great. It gives me that secondary weapon in case I like spam pistol shots and I run out of bullets, and it's kind of like in dire need of trying to defend. It just gives me that second option to be able to defend from far
Absolutely.
away.
And it's kind of up to you. There is an element of choice as to which type of character you want to use. You definitely don't want to be Yoda. You definitely don't want to be the engineer, because the engineer does not have the range with a shotgun, and that's not going to be far enough. I prefer to use heavy trooper just because heavy trooper has more health than the other classes. So I feel that's quite useful. I like to play it safe in that regard, but obviously it means I don't have a very viable alternate long-range weapon that isn't like a rocket or something. So, but yeah, as you can see, we're trying to defend this from a distance, and it seems to be doing a pretty good job so far. We can always bring up the map just to see how close enemies are to that command post, and I wonder how we're doing. Oh, there are a couple of droids on the approach, but once we get to this command post, we'll pop out, capture it, and then we'll also defend it from a distance. So, possibly a couple guys. Yeah, there's one on the stat. We also got to make sure we take this as well. And
looks like I'll be okay. There's someone over there. Yeah, he's capturing it now. However, I got this neutral, so we're okay.
Nice. Yeah. So because we got them all blue, the game still recognizes that as the objective being complete. It's a slightly more difficult way of doing it, but that is our victory. So that is the longest map done and out of the way with. I hope my advanced strat explanation made at least a bit of sense, or at least it made sense when you're watching it as well. But now we move on to Utapau, which is a pretty safe map, wouldn't you say, Austin?
I'd say so. A lot of it depends on the spawn, and as you can see,
Yeah,
I got the
there we
worst
go.
one.
Yeah, so there were basically roughly about three sort of spawns. There's like good spawn, bad spawn, and there's sort of a mid spawn as well. We got the bad spawn, unfortunately. There's not really much we can do about that, unfortunately. But an interesting quirk about the command posts on this particular map. Usually, if an enemy's within the sort of capture area, while the command post is white, it's sort of in this neutral state, it usually gets interrupted and you have to kill enemies around you, and that's the case for the vast majority of the command posts in this throughout this campaign as a whole. But for this mission specifically, and another command post I'll mention later on, for some reason, droids just do not contribute to interrupting capture. So it's actually really, really fast for us because we don't need to necessarily worry about droids in the area. As long as they don't kill us, then that's not going to be our run killer. And you could see earlier, actually, Austin was making use of some interesting wall tech that was developed by Starfleet. But by sort of running at an angle towards a wall, you're actually able to move faster than if you were going forward normally. So that's really cool. And now we get to play as Obi-Wan, where we get to capture another command post again. No risk of capture here, but of course you do want to be careful of to preserve enough health for the very dangerous Grievous fight.
Timer froze. Oh boy.
Oh, I don't have the
Alright.
stream open. I've just been watching your Discord, so.
Yeah. What's the course of action? Should I just play like normal even though timer's frozen?
I've seen cases where RGL TV staff put in something different. Right, here we go. Here's General Grievous. Uh-oh.
I was so focused on the frozen timer that I am probably gonna die.
That's okay, that's okay. So normally what we do here is that we take General Grievous and we force push him off the edge. We actually got him fairly quickly in the scheme of things certainly compared to most casual playthroughs of this. Then what we're going to do is take care of these anti-craft turrets, no problem, and we're going to go over towards a tank. We're going to be careful of mines because there can be some lying around in not very obvious sight, because after 30 seconds of a mine being placed, there's usually a red ring. After 30 seconds it's gone, but the mine is still there and you have to be very, very careful. but we got through that with no real issues. Unfortunately, just got a little bit messed up with Grievous, and we got a bad spawn. But overall, not the worst Uta power in the world in terms of implementation of strats. So now we move on to Coruscant Nightfall. Austin, what are your childhood recollections of this particular map? Did you suffer in the library like everyone else did?
Oh, I think it's a childhood defining moment if you suffer. You know, if you didn't suffer, then I don't think you had a childhood, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I think I know I definitely struggled with those bookcases once upon a time, but now we're gonna show those bookcases who's boss very shortly. Not only we're going to kill those Jedi's incredibly swiftly, we're also going to even leave the library and do some incredibly fast speedrunning, aren't we? So once we've captured this, we'll be moving straight onto the library. It's always a very good idea to kill the guys in the turrets, because then the AI love going into turrets, and if you're inside a turret or vehicle, you don't contribute to command post capture, so that's also really useful. But now we move on to the big boy itself. Here it is.
Sometimes
So
you
what we're gonna...
can.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, go
Sometimes
for
you
it.
can get luck. I just saw it. With friendly fire on, because we use friendly fire on in case like the turret clips mess up. The troops can sometimes kill the Jedi, which is kind of nice.
I've seen Jedi kill other Jedi just because they go to a specific spot to trigger the bookcase attack, and then another will come up, do the same thing, and then just kill another Jedi. It's great. This is a turret clip, by the way. This allows us to enter this room very early on, and for some reason the game allows for this holocron that we're going to pick up way later into the mission to be picked up. And what we're going to do here is
Maybe.
clip out of the room again.
Oh,
Let's see that work.
there we go.
Nice, well done. So the next wave of Jedi is going to spawn at the 1 minute mark. That's 1:01 now. So that's going to be Jedi spawning in. But obviously, like we just discussed, with friendly fire on, that actually gives us an element of insurance to keep these lightsaber library bookcases from staying intact, which is really useful. Austin now has to switch to the shock trooper, the heavy trooper, should I say? We've got one bookcase, but with only one Jedi, that should be pretty safe, wouldn't you say?
I hope so.
Yeah, it's all right, probably.
We are
I'll
running a
admit,
little bit behind, though.
I will say, yes, this is looking a little bit behind. We'll go ahead with it anyway. We'll make it work. But yeah, what we're going to do here, so we place down a mine there. So for those of you familiar with the campaign will know that 3 Jedi Masters will drop from the ceiling. And the idea is that if we do everything right from this point onwards, we should be able to complete everything within a minute before that mine despawns. And as long as it doesn't explode too early because of another regular enemy, it'll mean that the Jedi Masters will drop onto it, they explode instantly, and that's the mission done with. So we've actually completed a whole bunch of objectives much sooner by moving that holocron earlier and doing an infinite sprint here. So we just got that, and now we can pick up the other one, go here. We can play as Anakin, but we probably won't need to do that much. Bam! Yes! Nicely done. Well done. That is what we call a fast Coruscant. Nicely done.
Nice. That was really good.
That is a brilliant execution. I think we need some pogs in the chat, because that was genuinely super impressive. You'll love to see it. So now we are entering the Imperial portion of the campaign. So from this point onwards, we're not playing as clones, we're now playing as Stormtroopers. So yeah, for this one, we now have access to a playable class called the Dark Trooper. They have a jet boost or a jump pack, which is really valuable for this one, and it can take us long distances very quickly. So from this point onwards, we'll be doing a lot of strats that involve making sure that we get our 12 points needed for Dark Trooper. We're going to exceed that by miles with this first one. And once we play this Dark Trooper, we're going to make use of an interesting bit of geometry, and we're going to go a little bit of a further distance, I should hope. So let's see it. Nice. So basically, if you do your double boost, your double jet boost, and then you let go of the boost just before you hit the ground. You sort of skim onto the geometry of that particular rotunda roof, and that's really useful for getting some additional distance as well. So it works like a sort of skimming a stone on a lake, if you will. Yeah, so now we can move on to this next command post. We actually jump boost here because if we go through, there's like a little underpass area that we can go through. But if you go through there, this actually causes more rebel guards to spawn, Naboo guards to spawn, should I say. And so we go through here just to be a little bit safe. We've got to be careful of that tank, but luckily, by standing right behind this pillar, we're still in range of this medical droid. So we can actually still get a little bit of health while we're cowering, while taking this command post. Here we go. And now we're just going to take care of this terminal here. Absolutely brilliant. And now we're just going to mine these Jedi and the Queen.
Wow, they
Oh, they're quite some distance away, I will say. But that should be... Oh, one last one. Oh, there we go.
that was very weird.
Very weird, but still pretty quick.
Yep.
By no means the worst thing in the world.
One thing that was kind of skimmed over, so going from capturing that command post up to this terminal, you saw me roll while in the character select screen. If you're looking somewhere at the command post, like some vicinity or some direction towards the command post, you can still access the character select screen. So what I do is when I'm holding, or I roll or up the hill to get closer to the terminal while I select the heavy trooper. So
yeah, it's a cool way of getting a little bit of extra movement. You're right, absolutely. All right, so now we move on to Mustafar. So this is the last we'll be seeing of any droids throughout this campaign. Right, so we're in position for the Stinger jump.
Ooh.
Perfectly executed. So, yep. So normally,
No
oh no!
way.
Oh, bad luck. Can we do it again? We're doing it again. We're flexing. That's the silver lining here. So yeah, so that jump is really useful. Normally, if you try and go through the door, it'll be locked, and there's like a little control panel that you can destroy. It makes things a little bit easier if you die and need to play again a little bit later. But we can just jump through it. We can just do a regular sprinting jump and go through there. This is what we call. Oh, we got the. There we go. So we can throw a grenade through that hole. There's like a little hole in the collision. It's not big enough for trooper, but it's big enough for a grenade. And we can throw that through there, and that will destroy or at least damage one of the sets of schematics that we'll need to destroy a little bit later. Unfortunately, I don't think it hit. We call this a pizza delivery because a member of our community, Pizza Yum Yum, found this, and he just sort of strolled in, gave us a whole bunch of missing collisions, and because his name's Pizza, we decided to call it Pizza Delivery, and that was our pizza ball, if you wish, for those Eric Andre fans out there.
I genuinely cannot believe that engineer was there. That hurt me so much.
It's it's one of the major plights of this game is that sometimes you will just go through a tight hallway, and an engineer will be there. It gives you the full pelt, and there's nothing you can do about it. But it's just how it is sometimes. It's rough, but it's the game we'll be playing. A little bit unlucky with the schematics because no one on our team seems to be contributing that much, but we still got it pretty fast in the grand scheme of things. Something you'll note about this particular speedrun is that there will be a lot of things that we need to kill or destroy, and it's usually up to the player to perform that sort of final hit. And that's true of these schematics, and that's also going to be true of Geisel Delso here, as well as a few other things. But sometimes there are exceptions to this rule. General Grievous, for instance, can technically be killed by AI, but obviously it's faster to force push him or kill him normally. Now we got Geisel Delso. So he's the main final boss at this level, and we just killed him instantly. So yeah, that was that. The good thing about the award sniper And normally, if you ever hear anyone talk about the award sniper, it's usually very negative. They're trying to use it as a sniper, which is what you'd think it would do. But it's actually really good at dealing with one, large groups of enemies, and two, really beefy enemies. So guys like Geyser are really, really easy to take care of. So now we're going to go on to Camino. I'd say is another safe one, except for this one strat that will be up and coming. So let's see that in action in just a few seconds. We've just got to get to this door, place a depth pack. Once the objective starts, it's showtime. All right, let's watch the magic at work.
Nope, can't do it. I accidentally hit
Oh, you're not?
I double hit space and it caused my jet to activate, so I was not gonna have enough.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Okay, so we're going to be playing this normally. What you can do, there's an out of bounds. There's a bit of missing collision on the ceiling, and we can actually exploit this to fly up, take the flag over, and it gets us there a lot faster. I think by around 5 seconds. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but that's okay. We got Starfy to demonstrate this the other day, so it's not a big deal.
I genuinely can't. I spent 30 minutes this morning practicing that so I wouldn't mess it up, and I accidentally hit double space when it came time to matter.
Unreal. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Happens to the best of us. It's marathon luck.
Oh.
There we go.
That hurt.
But yeah, the rest of the mission is pretty tame in the grand scheme of things. There might be a little bit of struggle with gunships at worst, but we got our 4 deck packs. We're going to take them and use them to destroy the clone life support pods. If we're lucky, we could get an extra ammo drop, which looks like we're not getting. But yeah, we just got the ammo droid instead, so it's just a teeny tiny little efficiency that we can get with good luck. And now we're going to respawn.
Maybe.
There we go. Now we're going to respawn. We don't need Boba Fett anymore. And we're going to play as the Rocket Trooper and just kill these LA-80 gunships. So we can do 1 rocket and a bunch of pistol shots. And we can do that twice over.
Oh, that took...
I think an AI must have actually hit that. That's really good luck.
Yeah, it really was.
With the ward pistol. That's brilliant. For those of you who watched any percent no bonuses may have noted that it took around maybe 50-55% health with a rocket on that one compared to here. That's just a testament to how useful the bonuses are in this. So that should tell you the amount of damage increase that we're now getting with these rockets, that they're now able to do basically 95% of the damage. So we're going to do another remote rocket trick here. So for those of you who were there for Starfy's stream last time, we had to manually walk all the way down the stairs before the objective started. But for this one, we can actually use the remote rocket to start the objective basically instantly. And we can actually walk down the stairs as this auto-scroll is starting. So that's really, really cool. This is a good opportunity to grind for around 12 more points. But also we know that rebels are only going to come from this particular direction anyway until the 115 mark, where we're going to get an ambush of around 6 rebel soldiers coming from the other hangar. So we'll probably be falling down a pit on purpose any second now. There we go. Wonderful. And now we're going to play as a Dark Trooper, and we're going to deal with that ambush, and then we're going to be doing another out of bounds. How are you feeling about this next out of bounds?
I'm feeling all right. It's 50-50 on any given day. I didn't really practice it. I didn't really practice it just because of that. Like, you know, you kind of just take what you can get. Still really bummed about not being able to show off the Camino again, but just kind of how luck and misfortune played into that.
Yeah, they absolutely can. Is a little bit unlucky, but it happens to the best of us, so not a huge deal. But what we're going to do in preparation for this out of bounds, we've got to make sure we kill a few rebels along the way, because if we're not there to defend the hangar directly, they will just sort of walk over there. Our troops will defend it for a little bit, but if it does go red at any point, that command post, it will result in the mission failing, and we will have to restart. but it doesn't look like we're going to cause any issues here. And in fact, yeah, you saw that out of bounds just there. And now we can shoot them. They can't shoot us, which is absolutely a huge bonus. So what that means, when we got this this command post starting, you can see that, yep, this one, it's actually integral to get here early, just to make sure that we get those early capture parts for this. So we can actually capture a little bit earlier than if we were to show up just before the objective started. And we can actually use the arc caster here to scare away any rebels from getting to this area, and then we can use out of bounds.
No.
Oh, unlucky.
Oh,
All right, you gotta
okay.
oh, we got it. Nice. So
We
there's
take
a very
one.
bad version. There's a very bad version of this where you stay stuck there indefinitely. Thankfully, we got the slightly less worse version of that where we just get stuck for a few seconds. So the run has been saved. We're good. That could have been a close one. We could have had to respawn and do that normally for a second, but the game has let us work with this. And now we're going to be just in here, just taking this command post. We have a little friend that sometimes joins us, which is pretty useful. But yeah, no, this is this can be rough if you find yourself choking or losing a little bit of time in the prior objectives. The rebels can sort of gang up a little bit more in that area, and it can make things a little bit worse, especially if you have, say, another engineer around the corner, shoot you in the face, dead instantly. But it wasn't an issue here. Now, this objective, we have to destroy a shuttle. So we're going to take our shock trooper, and we're going to do this. Bam. Fantastic.
No
And now we
door.
got a Jedi, and we're going to do this. Bam. Easy. So that's Death Star. We've got like I think it's a 10-second wait for the victory screen to show up. It's one of the longer ones, probably second to half, I want to say, but yeah, there it is. And now this is generally where we call the end game from Polis onwards, because these next maps can be absolute run killers and just be an absolute nightmare in general. So we're going to start off with Polis. Let's see what spawn we get. Okay, that's a pretty decent spawn. So we're not downstairs, but we haven't exactly got the god spawn either. So there is a small chance you can get what's called the god spawn, where if you are fast enough, you can go up those stairs and skip a trigger that basically spawns in a bunch of rebels. With that said, though, well, let's see how we do here.
Uh-oh.
Oh. All right, that was pretty smooth. So that could have been a lot worse. You could have died. You could have had to spend ages killing those rebels. Had a bit of a tight standoff. But actually, that was pretty swift in the grand scheme of things. So well done. Now we got to pick up a flag. Oh, and look at that. So this is an example of the more difficult infinite sprint. So by sprinting and then performing a roll buffer on the final frame of the energy bar going down to 0, you can see it's absolutely blank, but we're still sprinting. We can actually perform a sort of frame perfect version of an infinite sprint. So that's actually really, really fast that you got it in the first try. And this is the point now where we have to defend this command post for 2 minutes. So this might seem like a regular sort of auto-scroller section, but actually that big group of rebels that we saw while capturing that flag, while sort of picking the flag and taking it back, they're going to show up. They're going to walk through those corridors and start messing up. They're going to start ruining our day, basically. It's not good for anybody. So we need to make sure we clear these guys out as fast as we possibly can. And what we're going to see, just like we saw in Coruscant, we're going to see another small batch of rebels spawn around the circumference of this base at the 1 minute mark. But what we're also going to do is a bit of a risky strat. At the 32 to 30 second sort of mark on the timer, we're actually going to despawn. We're going to place some mines first, then we're going to respawn around the 32 to 37 second mark, and then actually try and preemptively complete or mostly complete one of the future objectives.
There is
But
a
right
lot
now,
of rebels.
yeah, there are a lot of rebels around. How confident are you feeling about this?
Honestly, with the amount of rebels, then not at all. I think I'm gonna stick around for 5 extra seconds than I usually do, just to clear most of these out. But now I'm gonna go. So usually,
Okay.
what I like to do, I like to leave at the 35-second mark. But genuinely, there was just so many rebels that I didn't feel comfortable doing so.
Well, that actually worked out for us because that was a really good spawn there. So what we can do is take this tank to the other side of the map. How is that command post looking? Because I saw a few flashes of red, but I think our troops have actually sorted this out for us. So that's actually really good luck. Really good work from our AI buddies there. So what we can do is place this depth pack. You have to place it right in the center. It can't be on the circumference because otherwise it won't work. And if you spawn back at the base, we can spawn here. We have to clear out a few guys just because we weren't quite on the mark for getting a perfectly peaceful implementation of this strat. But what we can do is, yeah, we destroy that data bank instantly. We respawn back here, and it's relatively calm in the grand scheme of things. I've dealt with way worse, even with the strat working, to be quite honest. So it
That's
can be a bit rough sometimes.
that's kind of the importance of those 5 extra seconds. Like if you leave at 35, you obviously give yourself 5 extra seconds to get here before that objective screen spawns, which spawns those troops. And as Kez mentioned, if you do it fast enough, you spawn before that objective screen. You're in the area. That way, when you're capturing the command post, the troops don't spawn.
Indeed. Now, Tantive. So this is actually one of the fastest missions in the whole game. I believe the world record for this is just a little over a minute. I think it might be a minute and it might be a minute oh something seconds.
Oh,
Well, I got a lot of grenades here, but relatively unscathed. So this first command post can be really, really tough. What we want to do is what I find to be quite useful. Yeah, we can either sit here and throw a bunch of grenades. I find that the award sniper rifle is really, really useful here. Just because
this is
it's really good at
painful.
dealing with a large group of enemies, but they seem kind of spread out in this one. But we haven't died, which is the main thing. And this is actually looking really good. Cool. So we do have a prompt to play as Vader. We're not going to play as him just yet, just because if we destroy these terminals here first and then respawn as Vader at the center and then, you know, do his objectives later on from that point onwards, that's just a little bit faster in terms of the routing. And also, sometimes Vader's saber attacks on the terminals are a little bit messy. Okay, we almost got a pretty decent jump there. But we can also destroy this terminal. This allows us to actually exit through this door. And we'll take these back. You can see Vader is incredibly fast. Interesting quirk of with bonuses runs is that heroes are generally like a lot faster than with no bonuses, which is a really, really odd quirk. And I did not know this was a thing until I started playing no bonuses, and everyone felt a lot slower. I didn't mention it before with Ayla Sakura or Obi-Wan or whatever, just because we don't necessarily need to worry about that speed. But yeah, Vader is noticeably even faster. So yeah, now we're entering Yavin 4. This is the penultimate mission in the run. Very, very difficult. It can be very frustrating to deal with the first couple of command posts, certainly. Let's see how we do here. So, interesting quirk about the Phantom with its shallow water is that if you launch a grenade and it hits the water, then it will explode faster than usual. And that's great if you want to kill a bunch of rebels super quick, but equally, rebels can super quickly kill you as well. So, it can get pretty rough, but this one's looking like a really, really fast movement. A really, really fast command post capture here. So now we're going to play immediately as the Dark Trooper. Ah, I see you're taking the safer route. So
Yes.
if you go to this particular area of the map, that will spawn in a bunch of ambush troopers when you hit a certain trigger. But because there's an upper limit on the amount of ambush troopers you can have spawned at one time, it means that we're able to sort of waste them all in that irrelevant area of the map, and instead I see that tank is not looking great, but yeah, it actually means we can get a really safe, really consistent second command post. So I wasn't sure if you're going to go for safe. I wasn't sure if you're going to go super dangerous.
Yeah, I figured it might as well just be safe because I'd rather not die on die over and over.
Yeah, it can be very, very frustrating to die on that command post over and over. And because we actually got to the reflecting pool just before the objective actually showed up, it means that we actually skipped another ambush spawn right on this command post. So that's also really, really convenient. And now we've got a 2-minute almost breather, so to speak. We've got a 2-minute auto scroller. Just like Polis, just like with Coruscant, we're going to get one batch spawn at the 2-minute mark and another batch spawn at the 1-minute mark. So yeah, this just gives us a chance to sit down, have a bit of a breather if on a PV pace. Allows us to sort of chill out a little bit while also being wary of the command post as well. So it's mostly just sort of gut instinct rather than actively having to think about strats and stuff. So that's my take on it anyway. What are your thoughts on this particular objective,
There he is.
especially on a PV?
I think you said it perfectly. You still have to be on your toes, but it, like you said, it gives you a breather. Especially because of Hoth and just you've put yourself through a lot at this point. If you're doing all the strats, you put yourself through advanced strat on Kashyyyk, turret clip, and then on Coruscant, and then the out of bounds on Camino, or the stinger jump on Mustafar first, out of bounds on Camino, out of bounds on Death Star, and then now you're here. At this point, you made it through two very difficult objectives, depending on what's going on. So it's kind of a nice breather, although because of that death, it actually respawns some troops. So I got to be careful here.
Now, usually, yeah, at this point, we do want to be taking the tank over and preempting the next objective. If you do die at this point, it's not usually that bad unless, like, the command post is neutral and you can't really get there in time. We can afford, like, a death. I've dealt with sketchier objective completions, I'll tell you that for free. But yeah, now this is the very end of the mission. We've got a 10-second wait for this bomb to blow up. And then afterwards, we've got some bottom spies that we need to kill inside the base. So we're going to jetpack into the room, like so. And we're going to kill these dudes.
Nice.
Fantastic. Cool. And that's Yavin. Absolute pain sometimes to complete, but in this case, yeah, pretty smooth actually in the grand scheme of things, especially with the safe strat. So really good. And now we move on to Hoth. So Hoth can absolutely ruin your day. You can have a perfectly fine run, and then everything goes wrong on this one. I mentioned it before on the no bonuses, but for those of you who weren't there for that, I mentioned before that the AI difficulty scaling during the campaign mode does increase throughout the missions. So on Magito, the enemies were relatively tame. We saw that Mustafar engineer droid, very unlucky. We got absolutely annihilated by him, and that's the droids at their most difficult because obviously that's their last mission in which they show up. But here, we got to be very careful of snipers. We got to be very careful of random rocket dudes. We got to be very careful of snow speeders, to be fair. But for this one, obviously, we can't afford to be as safe as we can in no bonuses, so we can't go to the AT-AT. We've got to sprint straight there and take this command post. And actually sitting between those droids, that medical and ammo droid, that actually gives us the best chance of being able to survive this first command post, which we managed to do really, really quickly. So that's really, really good. Now we're going to take a specific route through here. We're not going to like double boost throughout this. Instead, we're going to be very careful and yeah. So remember what I told you about the rotunda during Naboo. We're actually able to do a similar sort of thing on that sort of ridge of that trench, and by sort of boosting up on that ledge, up to here, we're actually able to give ourselves additional height that allows us to get into this bunker super quick. And by hiding here, that gives us the best chance of not getting sniped. And we can also watch out for rebels trying to come in through this main door. They're less likely to go through the other door. And now we've captured that, we're going to respawn. We're going to take the shield generator. So how are the AT-ATs looking? Pretty solid.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
Really good actually for what you can get at Hoth sometimes.
Yeah, for those of you who weren't there for Starfy's stream, there was one AT-AT. It was fairly far forward, but it was pointing north, and this generator is due east. So you had to, Starfy had to spend quite a bit of time just making sure that, making it sure that we were able to rotate it and actually have it pointing in the right area. There's a little bit of risk of that front AT-AT getting in front of us, but as long as we move, then it's not going to overtake us because obviously it's two vehicles with the same speed. Now we're going to take. Ooh,
no,
bad.
no, I didn't mean to throw the grenade. No.
Oh no. Okay, well, normally what we do here is that we take a tauntaun and we take that across. Unfortunately, I think you just misclicked there. Unfortunately, so we're just going to travel here by foot or by jet, if you will. Hopefully, there's not going to be too many rebels spawn here. One of the major risks of playing the campaign, especially on this objective, if you die or waste too much time before during this particular objectives, the rebels tend to converge towards Echo Base because I guess canonically they're sort of retreating at this point because the generator's been destroyed. And it does mean that sometimes you do have to deal with a mass of rebels that you have to contend with, and it becomes very, very difficult. Not too much of an issue here for with bonuses where we got our extra like precision pistol. All right, and that's the last we'll be seeing of a regular trooper. Fingers crossed. And now we're going to be playing as Vader, so we get to benefit from his super fast speed throughout these corridors. Sometimes he does go a little bit out of control. That's not a problem. We can just recover and start again. And now we got this command post. And then after this, we're going to be taking a bomb beacon after skipping a cutscene, and then taking it and putting it underneath the rebel transport, where we will wait for 1 minute before the objective completes, and that'll be the end of the run. So we're going to time a little jump here for this objective. So because this cutscene shows up, it means we've got to be very careful with how we do this jump. And now we can do a final in sprint all the way to the bottom of the base. Bam. Perfectly done. And we can start the objective, and that is our 1 minute auto scroller. So once this finishes, and 12 seconds between that and the victory screen showing up, that will be the run. What time are you looking at, by the way, Austin?
I
is
don't
it still
know.
frozen?
Yeah, it's still frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't bother trying to fix it. It's because we were mid-map when it froze, or I didn't notice it until mid-map. So I don't know. Once the VOD is up, I will definitely time it. I don't think it's a world record. There was too many mistakes and a death. But if I got a 47-minute time, I'd be more than happy. I think that's where we got it. So
yeah. I think I mean to be fair, my world record got most of our death, but I suppose it wasn't quite as devastating as your case, where it was like at the first objective, right? But hey, we were able to show off 2 stinger jumps in a row.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, that's the objective complete. We can just got a few seconds to wait for the victory, and there it is. So that is the run. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about this?
Kind of bad, just because there were things that I didn't get to pull off, right? But
oh yeah.
But I think all in all, like I got to showcase like most of the stuff that goes into this, and I think I did a pretty good job in doing so. And yeah, I mean, I've got no complaints. Again, I wish Camino went differently. I wish I didn't die on Mustafar. Oh, and I totally forgot. I missed the force push on Grievous.
You did. That's true.
So that in itself definitely would not have led to a world record, just because I lost a lot of time there.
That would have been quite a bit of a time loss. That's true.
But no, I think this is a very good run. I'm happy with it. I hope that the people of Retro Gaming Live TV's chat were entertained. I know I didn't read chat that much as I wanted to. Emu, I did see you ask how I did that. I just whenever I was prepping the charge shock for Dark Trooper, and I accidentally used my middle finger as well to right click, which is my grenade throw. But yeah, no. Other than that, I've got no complaints. I thought I did pretty good for my first Kessel run. Thanks to Kazumis for being there with me and amazing commentary. He let me focus on the run, and I think it went really well. So yeah, did you have any thoughts, final thoughts on the run while you were kind of watching?
I think I think there were a few little mistakes. I think the Grievous thing is relatively fine, especially because there was a technical difficulty, and that was probably a little bit distracting. That probably wouldn't happen in a real run, and if it did, then it would just be a reset, and we'd just sort of go again.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily blame you for that. It was a bit of bad luck with the engineer on Mustafar. Those guys can just turn around those corners and just absolutely obliterate you out of nowhere. I think Hoth was actually really, really solid. At no point did we have a horrible Hoth tragedy moment. I don't know what your best is, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was like a gold or something.
Yeah.
Because that was like a really, really solid Hoth.
Until the tauntaun.
Yeah. And apart from the Tauntaun, yeah, that's right. Okay, maybe not a gold then,
Yeah.
but apart from that little flub, yeah, no, I think that was a really, really solid run, a really good showcase of what any percent with bonuses is all about, with a few little mistakes, but that is the speedrunning experience for this particular category. Nowhere near as horrible or brutal as no bonuses, trust me. For those of you who want to check that out, of course, the VODs for no bonuses and randomizer have already been released. So if you want to check out the other Star Wars Battlefront runs, you can check them out. I believe they've been posted on the RGL YouTube channel. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So, all right.
But yeah. But until then, that is the end of Star Wars Battlefront 2 and the Kessel Run. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We look forward to joining you for the next one. But until then, may the Force be with you. Have a great May the 4th, May the 5th. If you're in the UK, May the 6th. It's a bank holiday Monday. Yeah, have an absolutely great one. I'll see you around. Take care.
Huge shout out to RGL. Huge shout out to everyone who coordinated this. But yeah, I don't want to go over time. So Disney Infinity 3.0, I see you're up next. Looks like the Infinite Rift in Discord. Good luck, and good luck to the rest of the runners. Have a good rest of your Kessel Run. Kessel Run day. Excuse me. Goodbye.
Goodbye. See ya.